we made the stamp storage, which the lovely Hazel Eaton design for Pink Frog. So that houses our stamps. And then thinking alongside that, I wanted storage for my Pink Frog dies. So I've got my storage in here for my Pink Frog dies, but I wanted it to match my stamp storage. So on my shelf, everything is the same size. So the only thing that's different is the gusset. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I made that. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of grey board. Okay, you can get this from Pink Frog, no problem at all. It's A4 in size. And I'm going to trim this with my trimmer. Now you're probably thinking, you're mad, Dawn, you're going to blunt your blades. Yes, I will, but I've got an old blade in here. So you could do this with an old blade in your trimmer. I'm going to do it with you now. Or you could do a craft knife and a ruler, whatever you find the best. But actually I find this way is the safest and the easiest. So old blade, I've got this in at 14.5 centimetres because that was the size of the page on our folder. And I'm just going to run this up and down a few times on that side. It won't go all the way through because my blade isn't deep enough. So now what I'm going to do is turn it over. Put it back in at 14.5. Make sure you got it right. Go down again and just run that through a few times. And then take that out and, well, there you go. It cuts it. That's as easy as that. I've got no jagged edges. Everything is fine. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. Now you'll see that being A4, it is, if you're going to do another one, you need to trim that extra piece off. Okay, so put that to one side. So before I go any further, I've just got a brown marker just to mark my edges. And the reason I picked brown is obviously because my magnetic sheet is brown as well. So I just think it gives it a bit more of a professional look. So it's going to look nice but also be practical. So this is what this is about. Practical storage. You can make for pence, use for a long time. When it wears out, depending on how heavy you are on where you're taking stuff, it will last a long time. Now saying that, my crafting is very much on the go. What with classes, workshops, demonstrating, it's always on the go. So and mine have lasted quite a long time already. I haven't renewed them yet. So they do last. So that's that bit done. So let's pop that to one side and then bring in a sheet of our A4. Okay. This time we're not going to trim any off, keeping it exactly the same, but we're going to keep to Hazel's measurements of 14.5 in on both ends. So 14.5 and 14.5. And let me just burnish those lines so you can see. So can you see you've got a bigger spine? So if I bring in the stamp one, you've got a bigger spine, but because we haven't trimmed any off, it's exactly the same size as our stamp storage, which is what we want. So I'm going to take another sheet of A4, and this time on the short side I'm going to cut this at just under, so it's just literally the next one under 14.5. Okay, bring my scoreboard in and I'm going to score this at, let me check the measurement. So the measurement's 21, so I'm going to score that at 21. But then I want a small gusset. Now 1/2 centimetre is too big, but if I come down here on my scoreboard, I've got like 1/4 centimetre score. So I'm going to pop that in there, and then I'm going to do 1/4 centimetre score. Now if you haven't got that on your scoreboard, just put it in your trimmer and do a 1/4 of an inch score. Okay, so I'm gonna bring that in there and do both those score lines. Just take your time because it's only small, but it's needed to go over the grey boards. Okay, so that's over there. So I've got my grey boards. Let me see if I can find some more magnetic sheet. I'm running out of magnetic sheets because I've been using them. I've got a piece there. There we go. Now your magnetic sheet does trim nicely actually on your trimmer. Now mine I've cut down to 14.5, and I again cut that on my trimmer with my blunt blade. Okay, just easy and quick to do. I'm going to use Cal-Al to stick this down because your grey board does sap up the glue. I'm not going to waste my EVA on this. EVA will work, don't get me wrong, but it's acid lignin free and I want to keep that for my scrapbooking and memory books. So this works just as well. So put my magnetic mat on there. If you want to see how I cut the magnetic mat, you can go back and watch the show on Create and Craft to see me cut that, but it cuts very easily. It's just I've been making loads of storage with this and I need to get to one of those craft shows and get myself some cheap storage because I've run out. So yes, you can see I told you I'm getting organised for 2023. So that goes on there, and then I'm going to put a piece of red line tape just on the top so I get the right, I don't want it moving about too much. So just along on that top line, that's all I need. Giving that a burnish down. Peel that off and then put your board on the top, and I'm going to put some more Cal-Al onto this bit. This bit is going behind, you're not going to see this. I could have trimmed it down but I haven't. So go on your line, just making sure you're right on that flap. And even if your Cal-Al gets on your magnetic, it comes off. Marvellous stuff. Right, so that's now onto there. Okay, now if you've got a little, can you see I've got a little, it's literally an angel's hair, but this is the sort of thing that would bother me, so I'm just going to trim that off with my scissors. You can see how easily the magnetic sheets cut. Told you it was an angel's hair, but it's the sort of thing that bugs me, and if you're going to make this and you're having it that's going to last a while, you want it all done properly. Okay, so again, bring in your cover, and this is now going to stick into here. So I'm going in with my Cal-Al again. Putting that on the top there. Any seeping out, wipe that away. Double check on the back there that you're happy with where it's landed. I've got another little angel's hair there of the brown or the craft. Just going to trim that off. So don't beat yourself up if it doesn't stick on straight away, because you can, those little pieces, see, you can just trim those with a pair of scissors. So that is all there ready to go. So that is one place to put my magnetic, and then you're going to do exactly the same again, and I'm seeing if I've got another piece of board. Yes, I have. So let's trim this down. So again, going in at 14.5. Flip that over, back in at 14.5. See, as easy as that. That's all it is to do. Very quick and easy to do. And I'll just mark around the edge of this one and slip this one down. And I think I need to get onto the internet and get myself some more magnetic sheets. But I haven't got to worry about buying those expensive ones. I can buy the cheap floppy ones because I'm putting them on my grey board. So they're going to last. So I haven't got to think again. I need to buy the really expensive ones. Cheap ones are absolutely fine. So it's really quick and easy way to do it. Just colouring my mat. If you haven't already subscribed, as I've said, to my YouTube channel, please do, Dawn's Inspirations. And you can find me over on Facebook as well. And I love to see what you make, so do share and like my page. And if you've made anything from my tutorials, online workshops, the TV shows, do share, because it's nice for other people to see. And I hope by doing my tutorials in real time like this, step by step, that you can follow along very easily with me. So that just needs another magnetic on there, and that just needs time as well to go to one side to dry. But how lovely is that? All done there ready. So if I bring my finished one in, which was this one, how nice is that? All finished, nicely coloured up, everything's staying put on these, even these cheap boards. No worries at all, everything's in its place. I haven't got to worry. I've labelled it all up the same as I did with my stamp storage, so when it's all on the side, everything looks nice together. I did have a go at doing a double one with the flaps coming out. So you have one flap coming out and one not. You can't do this with A4 card. You need to have your 12 by 12 and cut it down to 21 centimetres. But you need that 30.5 centimetres across, because you need just that little bit of extra space with your gusset to have that on there, to have that opening flap that way. But I hope this has helped you have some other ideas for storing your dies, keeping everything together with your stamps. And yeah, share me your makes, share me how you decorated them. Have you decorated them, or have you left them as that lovely craft card? So I'm Dawn, see you soon, bye for now.